Hello and welcome to Come With Us, a podcast to meet all your fantasy needs. I'm Sussy Nunez.
And I'm Reshea Kelly, and each week we dive into the tempting world of books, seductive romance, and a sprinkle of spice.
Sinners! Welcome to episode 11. Can you believe it? Of Come With Us, your new favorite podcast, and you know it. I'm Sussy Nunez, and today I'm giving Nesta and Royal vibes. You cannot tell me otherwise.
I fucking love it. It's like Black Swan.
Thank you.
And I am Reshea Kelly. You like my hair? Gee, thanks. Just bought it.
She looks amazing. Okay, what? Like, excuse you? Excuse me? Excuse what?
I will not be excused. Look at me. I'm just. It's like this hair belongs to somebody who fucked Janis Joplin once.
I love it, babes. You are giving villain era. You're giving, I'm going to eat Cassian, I'm going to eat Asriel, I'm going to eat Rhys, I'm going to eat Timothée, I'm going to eat them all. I love it.
I'm a man-eater, make it work hard.
I
So, like my hair, G thinks I bought it. I have purple hair now. This is an accident, but I'm owning it.
No, and please keep doing that. Because that is a mistake that you want to make again. Because, oh my God, you look amazing.
I should go take boudoir photos.
Yes, you freaking should.
Okay, I will.
So, that's us for this week. We're very excited because we're looking amazing and we're owning it and we're like actually feeling it. So, it is what it is. Today or this week, we have Catherine. I've been calling this woman Katerina for the longest. She's gonna be here today, and I'm so excited because she knows about Come With Us since basically like week 1. So
Yeah.
I'm excited. Say hello and welcome to Katerina. Oh, sorry,
Catherine.
Say
We're
hello.
keeping it in.
Say hello and welcome to Catherine.
Hi, how are you, Catherine?
I am good. Thanks for asking. How are you women doing?
Fantastic. Getting better every day.
Never better. I'm purple haired now, so.
I know. Can we just talk about that for a minute? Because spinners, look at that hair. Like, I know we said it at the beginning, but like, hello. When I said that she was entering her villain era, we're definitely in. Cannot love it.
My therapist saw it and I was like, he goes, "Oh, you dyed your hair." I said, "Yeah, that's the stage of the mental breakdown I'm at." And he just kind of laughed. And
but
like
it's true, though. But it's good because every time that we see something like that, that means change, new beginnings, something is happening. So heck yes.
Exactly.
I am a beautiful butterfly. That's a movie.
We freaking love it. I just want to know, because we always ask these type of questions when we have guests, and this is your first time on the podcast. What is your favorite book of all time?
Well, okay, if it is SJM, then I would say Silver Flames, obviously. But if it's not SJM, I would say Call Me By Your Name by André Aciman. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but oh my God, I am so much into gay romances. And yeah.
Have you seen the movie adaptation of that?
Yes, I have. I mean, certain
like
parts were cut out, and I don't like it because, there was this whole part that was cut out, and that was, to me, that was one of the best parts, the most, full of emotion, and that was just cut out, and you did not get to see it. But the good thing about, movie adaptations and having read the book is that, you can picture those actors and, scenes from the book, and it's just, have you ever felt that?
Yeah, that's how I felt with Harry Potter, like, because I read the books and then the movies started coming out before the series was finished, and then after the movies came out, I couldn't see the characters any other way in my head.
Exactly, that's what happens.
Like, Hermione will always be Emma
Watson.
Thank you, God. Emma Watson. So yeah, I totally get that.
In the book, they have the same end for the
they do have the same end, although there is an epilogue in which they show us like 20-30 years later they meet again, something like that was cut out.
Okay, yeah, that is important because epilogues for me are like key for books.
Exactly. Yes,
it wraps everything up in like a nice little bow.
They were like, how can we make Timothée Chalamet look 20 years older? I don't think that's possible. And they just like, no.
He's not going to look 20 years. He's not going to look 20 years older in 20 years.
Exactly. So they were like, you know what? Let's just cut this part out. Nerd. Okay.
It's not gonna
So favorite smutty book of all time.
Smutty book. Oh my god. I
Ooh.
don't think I've read smutty books in a while, but Cat and Mouse Duet.
Oh, that's
Hunting
Hunting
Adeline.
Adeline and Haunting Adeline.
Yeah.
Which is
Look at
100%.
you.
I love that you're like,
Dramatic,
I
but
don't read
come
smut
on.
a lot. I love you're like, I don't read smut a lot, but let me hit you with one of the most intense dark romances to ever be written.
Love that. Okay, awesome. What are your 3 favorite men of all time in books? Give me 3 to 5.
Okay, Cassian, Rowan, and what would be the third one? Probably Dorian.
Dorian, Cassian, and
Oh.
Rowan. Okay, we love
Yep.
this. Because now we're gonna do Fuck, Marry, Kill.
Oh my god. Oh, I know you've asked this to literally everyone, but I still did not think I could prepare myself for this. Okay.
You can do it.
Okay. Fuck Cassian, because come on, put your head on the headboard. Come on. Does it get
Yes.
any better than that?
Obviously.
Yeah. Okay, and I would say marry Rowan because, again, there is so much, communication that is not happening outside. It's more mind-to-mind communication, even though they do not have, Rowan and Aileen, they do not have a bond like, Feyre and Rhys do. They don't have these mind-reading capabilities, and they can still communicate in that way. And I love that sort of communication for someone
We love
you want
that.
to spend your whole life with. So I
Yeah.
would say marry Rowan and kill Dorian.
Bye
I
bye.
don't even know who Dorian is,
Absolutely
so
left
bye.
with no choice. Throne of Glass.
Oh,
See, we haven't read that one yet.
Yeah.
I know
You got to
who.
read it.
I know.
It's
It's
literally,
just-
in my opinion, Throne of Glass beats Crescent City. It beats Avatar in every
No.
way. Yes, it does.
Really?
Yep.
All right. Okay.
okay.
And then you gotta send us your favorite like fanfics, like scenes from Throne of Glass for us to read, because we're
Yes.
so immersed in like the smutty books because of this podcast that we're
Yeah.
almost like Coke fiends and we need to have our fix. So if you could just send us the best of the best from AO3 and Wattpad, that'd be great.
All right.
She said it really nicely, but we're actually addicted to literally cock.
I mean,
it is what it is.
Right.
It is what
Okay,
it is.
so today we're reviewing. We're talking about this. We finally got here, sinners. We did it. Reshea, we freaking did it. It's happening. Oh my gosh. Part 1 of A Court of Silver Flames. Nesta's and Massive Cassian's book. What? Yes, it's happening.
I'm so happy. Listen.
Sinners, look at this. Look at the tabs. I'm not lying. This is my favorite book from the whole Aquacar series. Yes, we 3 are obsessed with this book. This is our favorite book from the whole Aquacar series. So today's the day, sinners. It's happening. Reshea, because we know Allie and we love her reviews. And honestly, by this point in this podcast, she's like the OG reviewer.
She is. We just have to keep tagging her every time and be like, thanks again for all your hard work.
Exactly.
Nesta, the most unlikable person in literature, is understandably upset about being turned fey against her will. The lightning rods of her ire include her family and a magical bathtub. When her brother-in-law finally puts his foot down and sticks her in the Tower of Sauron, she pouts until a 500-year-old man with bat wings yells at her. Nesta decides to retaliate by learning how to use stairs. She and the very old but very hot-winged man proceed to have Pornhub sex in every room of the tower, which is also sentient and is 100% watching them all of the time. How Nesta's cervix survived the sex described is a mystery. She eventually stops being a huge bitch all the time, in too much cervical pain, and saves her sister from a death her brother-in-law knew was going to happen and did nothing to prevent. Also, there's a hike that almost kills her, and a death swamp, maybe lesbians, and Eris, who is my toxic trait.
Thoughts?
Thank you. Thank you, Allie Learns to Read. Oh, my favorite thing is the way she captions it on Instagram is, remember when you were minding your own business and Nesta was like, man, I want a 3-way with Az and Cass. And you were like, wait,
God.
what?
Yes. Basically, literally, that's the whole book right there in that review. But we're gonna get into it now. Okay.
Nothing else important happens.
Honestly, the most important part in this book is Rhys is a liar.
Oh my god.
Yes. Well, not a liar, but like
No, he's just he goes from being Daddy Rhys to being Father Rhys.
And that is not nice. Not nice. Because we already have a man that we loved and now we don't love anymore, Tamlin. And now you do this again? Why, woman?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. You know,
like it's not fair. Okay.
No.
Let's get into it. Nesta is on the hot mess express.
I write these for anybody listening. I write these without Sussy reading them. So normally the first time she reads the way that I write it down is when we're recording.
Yes. So Nesta is on the hot mess express. Daddy Rhys quickly morphs into Father Rhys and gives Nesta an ultimatum. I thought it was an intervention, but no, because an intervention gives you options, you know? This is no.
Yeah.
Or you either go be a homeless person on the mortal lands. Nobody wants a fae on the mortal lands. We have to say that. Or you go and rehabilitate yourself in this house of wind that you cannot get out of.
Do exactly what we want you to do.
Yeah. And do exactly what Tamlin did to Feyre.
There's a part where, and I think I might bring it up later, she says to Elaine, like, you know, like, I didn't really have a choice to be here, right? I didn't have a choice. I didn't want this, and it sucks. And Elaine's like, you could try being less miserable. Bitch, what?
Bitch.
What?
Nar.
All right. So, Catherine, I want to know what your opinion was of Rhys at this point. Because I know for me, I was still like, he was still Daddy Rhys to me. And I was still trying to like justify away his behavior. I don't know if you felt that way or if you were just like, no, fuck this guy.
I read... Right.
Fuck this guy.
So the first time I read Silver Flames, I was still, Team Rhys, and I was like, no, he cannot do something like that. I mean, the whole point of Mr. Fury was that Rhys gave Feyre the choices that Tamlin never did. So how could he just simply take away someone else's choices? I mean, that's so not the point of, Court of Dreams and stuff. So, but the second time I read it, it was, with the audiobook, and, I personally tend to feel more when I go through audiobooks. So I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Why is he acting like Tamlin 2.0?
Yes. Tamlin 2.0. That is exactly what he's being right now. So terrible.
Basically, remember that on the previous episode, A Court of Frost and Starlight, we talked about the money part. Basically, they're cutting her off.
Exactly.
Like, of everything. She doesn't work.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what to do with her body because she has these new abilities and everything, right? And they're like, no, babe, you either do what I want or you're gonna die broken. And I'm like, that's not fair. And Feyre, I just hate the fact that, okay, Rhys, be that person because it's you, it's a man, and you don't know shit, and you always been rich, and you have no idea how life actually gets. Because okay, you were a man whore for a little bit, but that's it. I'm not shitting on your trauma, but let's be honest. Hello, you're a man. But then again,
that's harsh. She just is so mad. She's so mad at Rhys. She's like, I don't hate him. I'm just disappointed.
I'm disappointed. Yes. So I get that Rhys is that person, but let's talk about Feyre for a minute because she was okay with everything. And we're not talking about that enough. You know what I mean?
She became so docile when she became High Lady. She was High Lady. She was supposed to be more authoritative, and she just became more docile and doing stuff like, he knows it. He's been a High Lord for 500 years. I mean, even from Rhys' point of view,
she went from wanting to be a High Lady
reason, because he thought her capable of making her own choices that are, mature. So I don't see the whole point of, her becoming docile again. Is it because she's pregnant or what?
For me it was like she fought so hard, or she wanted so badly to be something more than just the High Lord's wife, and then she became the High Lord's wife. She had her moment in the Spring Court. She had her moment when she came back and she was like slaying bodies in the Summer Court, and she was being a badass and everything. And then it was like, it almost feels like, and I saw this on Reddit once, and it made, or maybe TikTok, and I was like, somebody commented, and I was like, oh my god, you're right. It feels like a ghostwriter wrote this part of the book, or wrote Feyre's character, because it doesn't feel like Feyre. It's almost like
I just
Cinderella.
feel like maybe SJM thought that she had to bring Feyre's light down so Nesta could shine. And I'm like, babes, both of them could have been such badasses
I mean, the
together.
whole thing, the way Silver Flames changed my perspective of Feyre is that, now I think that she was not exactly a badass. She was just badass out of necessity, and when there was not required, she was, back to being, I don't know, whatever wives are.
Yeah, I don't know what to. At some point, we said something about Feyre, and I still stand by that. I think Feyre is not as deep as we think she is.
The first thought I had when I read Silver Flames was that Nesta is just so deep. It's like we were barely scratching the surface with Feyre. I mean, when it comes to the POVs of Nesta and Cassian, it feels like this book is such a masterpiece. But when it comes to, the whole plot and where the IC is going, it feels like, what the fuck is happening right outside this couple? I mean, is the point of the book just a romance, or is it the plot too? It's not clear anymore.
We see that Nesta is angry, and anger gives you a motivation, gives you fuel. Feyre wasn't either or. Feyre just was. She would have been amazingly okay with just hunting her whole life for her father. And she would have been amazingly okay. Yeah, and she would have been amazingly okay being the High Lady of the Night Court. You know what I mean? Like, she's wow. Maybe we're now into hashtag we love Elaine after the episode. If you didn't listen, go and listen, because it's amazing. And now we're like maybe not into Feyre as much.
I agree.
Well, we will need to wait for the other books though.
That's another thing I was thinking of is you know how there's all these people out there that are like, no, I read Silver Flames, still hate Nesta, fuck Nesta, she's the worst, blah blah blah.
So many posts about that.
That's a Eliza Shrew, right? She's a divisive character for sure. I'm not saying I'm better than them. I'm just saying I'm gonna give Elaine a chance. Because like I hate Elaine the way they hate Nesta.
But we Elaine.
I'm just saying like I hate Elaine the way they hate Nesta, but I'm at least gonna give her a fucking chance, dude. Like maybe.
I'm not plugging the previous episode, but if you didn't listen to it, go and freaking listen, because we talked about this and we have a theory about Elaine, so you need to go and watch that. Nerd. Okay, continue.
Okay. All right. So basically we're getting insight. We're starting to get insight on like what Nessa's inner workings are, why she is as ornery, it's a word my grandma used to use, as terrible as she is, and why she's always been a huge bitch. And we start learning that like at this juncture, she feels abandoned. She's like, it was always me and Elaine. It was always me and Elaine. I always took care of Elaine. And when I needed Elaine to be there for me, she picked Feyre. And then she also had Amren, and she and Amren developed this relationship and this fondness for one another, right? And then there was an incident on the barge that we don't find out what happens until like the end-ish of the book, right? And she says like, yeah, like, well, Amren's picked everybody else too. Like she's picked Feyre, she's picked the inner circle, and she's left me out to dry, even though she understands what I am and what I'm dealing with. So I had forgotten what it was, and I had to search. Amren was like, hey, Nesta, you need to come back and start training with me. We need to work on your powers still, right? Nesta's like, I don't want to. Rightfully so. She can't even take a fucking bath. You expect her to try to hone these powers she didn't even want, right? And Nesta calls her a fucking waste of space, essentially.
To Amren.
No, sorry. Amren calls Nesta a waste of space.
Got it.
Because she's being difficult, which Nesta is. But Amren, bitch, you're difficult too.
Are you kidding me? We're talking before. No, Nesta is running because Random was walking at some point.
Yeah. Fuck. Amren, your High Lord, Rhys, is afraid to ask you what you are because of your shit personality. And you're telling Nesta that she's a waste of space because she's being difficult?
Amren is the one that,
I'm with you.
The IC is keeping a check on. There's always this paragraph of how Azriel is always looking out for danger when she's around. I mean, they don't do that when Nesta is around. I mean, probably they do in Silver Flames, but not before that, probably. But I mean, it sounds so, like a hypocrite.
It's all very hypocritical.
And to me, it's silly that she feels offended because you are difficult, babes, and you love it.
Exactly.
We know that from the books. You want to be difficult. You love being difficult. Okay, but before we move to another point, we need to talk about Elaine literally being like, I don't know Nesta. Who's Nesta? I don't know her. I never had a life with her because she literally forgot about Nesta. She was just only Feyre and Rhys and the kind of like the kitchen from the house that they were living in.
That after being in the cauldron with Nesta, she would, understand more what it's like to have gone through something so traumatic. Apparently, I don't even understand why it's traumatic. I mean, sorry, but if I had the chance of being immortal, I would. Never mind. So, it would make sense if they...
You need to listen to the previous episode. You need to listen to the previous episode because they talked about this. But continue.
Okay. I just forgot the point I was making. Yeah, so it would make sense that Elaine would, bond more with Nesta. And considering that they were so, relatively close before everything happened. And she just kind of abandoned her. And I don't see why. I mean... one of the things that I think is that, Elaine is Lucian's mate, and mates are sort of equals. And Lucian, Rhys says this, I think in book 2 or something, that, he had a fox mask for a reason. And if he's so cunning, then she is also supposed to be cunning. And if she's cunning, is there like an evil Elaine arc?
Stop. Stop.
Maybe she's
This is working so well. This is working so well with our little Elaine theory from the last episode. Oh, I'm so excited.
Yes. Continue, ma'am.
Yeah, so I think Elaine is just being really smart that, you gotta side with the powerful people here. So I think that's what she's doing here. And Nesta is like, I don't give a fuck if you are the most powerful High Lord in all of Prithian. I will do whatever the fuck I want. Exactly.
I'ma do me.
I love
Nesta's like, I'ma do me.
The way I love that Nesta is stubborn to a fault, to where it is to her detriment. She's so at the point where Cassian's like, you're gonna train with me, bitch, right? And she goes and she sits on that rock. Her fucking ass is frozen because it's the middle of winter. She's so cold, and she's like, nah, I'm good. And she just sits there. She's miserable, but she's like, yeah, but I'm winning.
That's one of my favorite parts from the book, because I think she, even though she's like that, and that's working on her, not to her benefit, she uses that when she wants to be a better person too, like that stubbornness, right? And we see how that works for her.
Rhys Poo is afraid of Nesta. LOL, little bitch.
He's afraid of Nesta. We need to say the things that we need to say. And this is one of the things that we need to say. 100%.
He said it. He says he's afraid of Nesta. And what drives me nuts is the reason he's being so fucking terrible to her is because his fucking wife is pregnant. And what makes me so mad is Nesta was never actively... she never actively hurt Feyre. She hurt Feyre by inaction, right? It was, I'm not going to be doing that. I won't be participating. I won't be doing this. I won't be doing that. She never like went out of her way to hurt Feyre, right?
No.
And that's all on trauma and her terrible coping skills, so on and so forth. Not saying that it's okay. But for him to think, and for Feyre to allow him to treat Nesta as if she would, on purpose, hurt Feyre, is beyond me. Like, she's a huge cunt. I'll be honest. Nesta's a cunt. She's a
I love that word so much.
I do too. I was never allowed to sing growing up. I mean, until I was like in my mid-20s when I realized my mom couldn't tell me what to do anymore.
I love it.
She's like, I hate that word. She didn't sound like that. Anyways, Mom, if you're listening, I love you. So she's a cunt. She is. She's a terrible person. But she's not going to actively hurt Feyre. Just so his fear of her and his unnecessary precautions he's taking against her, to me, feel unnecessary and unwarranted. And the way he's been handling Feyre's pregnancy with all of this feels like a catalyst for how the whole book went.
Oh, totally.
Like, and I don't know. It just makes me mad.
Does it feel like
Rhys
is actually insecure? Because imagine being the most powerful person in all of Prythian for more than 500 years, and all of a sudden, there is this lady who comes out of nowhere, and you are afraid of her. And, you are all like, oh, I'm going to protect my people, I'm going to protect my court. And all of a sudden, you know that if this person wants to hurt, there's nothing he can do to save the people he so badly wants to protect. But again, he should also, just like you said, he should also realize that she would not actively ever hurt Feyre or anyone in the, inner circle for that matter. But I don't know, to me it feels like he's just being insecure after, having someone more powerful than he is.
He doesn't understand her power because it's he was born with this power, and then something of the cauldron. I mean, they have other cauldron made pieces throughout Prythian history, and everyone's afraid of it. Like, they're sources of power and they're sources of great destruction. So he doesn't understand her, but at the same time, I feel like he's not giving. It's Feyre for me, because she's not advocating for her sister at all.
She was supposed to be a mediator.
I don't think he is. I mean, he could be insecure, but honestly, I just think that he sees so much of him in Nesta that he's afraid, because he knows how his mind thinks. He knows he can be the cruelest person ever if he wants to. And he's like, I see you, Nesta, and I know that you are like me too. So I think he's afraid of that part, of her being as cruel as he could be if she wanted to. And honestly, that's terrifying.
You are just so much fun, to watch. Oh,
thank you so much. I love it. Thank you. We know. We're trying to make it very entertaining. She refuses to train. We talked about it before, but yeah, she's so stubborn. And I love the fact that Cassian knew how to manage her too. She's like, you know what? You don't want to train? Don't fucking train, bitch. But be in the cold the whole day. I love it. I loved it. I was like, this is giving me so much of a master type of dynamic. I love it.
Like a dom and a brat. 100%. Yeah. Oh, Nesta's a brat. And she's a switch. So then Cassian has the minefield of, is she bratting or is she trying to top me?
Cassian, Rhys never gave me peg me type of vibe. But Cassian,
Cassian would at least try it once. Okay.
Actually, and after he tries, he will be like, can we do it again?
I may need a couple glasses of fairy wine, but okay.
Yes. Okay.
If you do want to read about a character who is as stubborn as Nesta, there's this book I read. What was it? The North Wind. Anyone heard of it? Alexandra Warwick.
I heard
the
Lord's Wind.
The North.
Oh, the North Wind. Okay.
I heard about it on TikTok.
She is, taken against her will, kind of like Beauty and the Beast, and she refuses to give in, and she is pretty tough character, I would say. So yeah, I loved that book. It was a great book.
I love it. Thank you. We're gonna add it to the TBR. We have so many books. Okay, before we continue, can we appreciate Catherine's wall decor? Because
thank you.
Beautiful.
I don't know if it's this way or that way, but yeah, wow.
I love it. It's gorgeous.
Like, you're giving me? I think that's
all
Cassian and Nesta.
Just Cassian and Nesta.
I see.
Love it.
I love it, and
he's
giving.
Best.
It's giving
Yeah.
autumn full like vibes. So yes, babes, I love it. We haven't said this before, but Nesta is on this house. If you haven't read these books, you don't know this. You have no idea what we're talking about. But yeah, Nesta is in the House of Wind, and in this house, they cannot get out unless they know how to fly winnow or go
10,000
down
steps.
10,000 steps. Again, I know it's 10,000 steps, but I think going down is not the difficult part.
Coming up
in
is,
my opinion.
Have you ever gone down a lot of stairs?
I have, but it's not that difficult though.
Okay, but think it's not a regular stair width. It's a 1 foot drop, so 12
That's true.
inches. And so you're activating your quads
Yeah.
hardcore, like trying to lower yourself without falling. It gets you. Get on a stair climber and do it backwards. And your calves, oof.
There were some beautiful women that were doing it on TikTok. They were doing the 10,000 step Nesta challenge. I saw something. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're on this house. It's like on top of a mountain or something, so they cannot get out. And she at some point gets really mad because she doesn't think that she has to be there, because she's like, who do they think they are for me to be here? Like, no, who are they? They're nothing. So I'm going to get out of here. She does not.
And like a true alcoholic, is motivated by a lack of wine. She was mad because she was asking the house for wine, and the house wouldn't give her anything but water, and she was pissed.
Yes, because she is an alcoholic and maybe a drug addict. We don't know because they don't talk about drugs in those books, but maybe she is. We don't know. And she is cut out of everything. Money,
Men.
alcohol. She only has books, food.
Wait.
Think about that. The men too,
Available men.
Available men. I love that. You're right. She's
For now. For now.
I mean, yeah, for now. So that's happening at the house, and the house is because the house kind of like has a soul.
So it didn't. It was just a house that had been enchanted, like the cabin, to if you ask it to give you something, it'll give you something, right? Nesta said she wanted a friend one night.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. It's so beautiful.
House made her friend.
Yeah, because let's be honest,
So
the only 3 people living there was Nesta, Asriel, and Cassian. Asriel is a sad boy. He's never gonna be friends.
He's gonna be a terrible friend.
Exactly. Cassian, training, only training. We war. No, or fuck. Let's fuck.
He's like in love with her, and he's trying to fight it so hard. He's just like, we can't be friends. I can't even look at you.
Yeah, exactly. And then Nesta, she cannot be friends with herself, so she's like, okay. And then the house takes the job, and it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful and pure, you know. I love that. Okay.
Yeah, the only weird thing is that the house sees everything.
I mean, the house was having popcorn and a vibrator on the other hand, and she was like, you know, doing the thing.
It's just like a jackhammer for a house.
I can't. We're talking about house porn. I don't know. I don't even know how to react to this.
Nesta is punished to spending time working in the library, which is inside / under the mountain-ish, and is a haven for priestesses and women who have undergone terrible trauma. And
when you say under the mountain, you mean under the House of Wind?
Under the mountain that the House of Wind is on, not under the mountain from ACOTAR.
Yeah,
we're not going back there.
No,
but
never.
And not the Court of Nightmares either. So this is just like, it's like built into the mountain. Yeah, I guess. And it's supposed to be this like haven, this safe space for women who have been horrifically traumatized. I'm pretty sure from what it explains, it's by males, not men, because they're not human, but like women or females or fae women who have been assaulted or abused by fae males and are traumatized and need a safe place. And I remain iffy about whether I think that it's great to give them a place where they never leave.
Yeah, I felt the exact same way.
But
I'm with you. And I think we never talked about this before. And I think I never talked about this before with other people. But in my mind, I have conversations with myself about this
sure.
every time. Because I'm like, that's not a very healthy way to work through trauma, you know? Like
maybe hire a therapist.
and then they have like Wayne. She has this lady that is like, she's treating her like shit. So I'm like, I don't understand how these things correlate. You know what I mean?
I don't know. If they have scholastic researchers there, such as this person that Elaine was working for, or not Elaine, sorry, Gwen, that Gwen was working for.
It's Meryl?
Then, Meryl. Then clearly they have some sort of academic system in place that would allow for the just logical creation of some form of psychology.
They have doctors. They have the lady that is working with Feyre. Like, they know.
So why aren't they providing assistance outside of, here's a place where you can hide forever and be afraid of the outside world forever and never leave forever, instead of just talking to somebody?
Maybe they didn't know that therapists existed.
But that's what I'm saying, is like, if you have these people who are like historians and researchers and everything, there has to be an academic system in place. And I don't think humans are like, in this world, our world, I don't think that we're like the most advanced of species. I'm sure there's something better out there on a different planet. So my thought is, if we could come up with psychology, surely a fairy can come up with psychology.
Exactly.
They've had millennia to figure it out. Yeah, you've got to get curious after a while. Gee, I wonder, why do I feel sad sometimes? There you go. Psychology is born. Like, I don't understand.
Literally.
It doesn't make sense.
Or someone doing a lot of coke and needing to do research on that.
That was nice.
Nesta is super out of shape. Like, she is so out of shape that it's incredible. I mean, she's not eating, she's drinking like a fucking whore, and she's fucking like a fucking whore. So it makes sense. It makes total sense that she's out of shape. Even though the fucking is an exercise, maybe she was just there.
She's starfishing it.
Exactly. We don't know. But Nesta is super out of shape. So we go to the next point. Cassian realizes that Nesta doesn't want to train because she doesn't want to embarrass herself. And I relate to that.
Me too.
Honestly.
Hard relate.
Yeah.
I mean, I almost stopped playing softball just because one time one of my teammates made fun of me for how I landed on first base. Because I kind of hop a little bit. It's like a bounce, and I shouldn't do that. And he made one joke about it, and I was like, well, now I'm not playing at all.
You're becoming Nesta. You're like, oh, you want to see Nesta? Well, I'm gonna let her out.
Catherine, do you feel this at all, or are you a pretty agreeable person?
This. I had a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's nice because that's a moment that they get to communicate with each other. He's like, okay, I get it. He doesn't say it like that, but he's like, okay, I understand. So let's work this out your way. And they start working they start working things out her way, and things start, working. If it would have been maybe Rhys, he would be like, it's my way and that's it, or maybe not Asriel, because I think he's nice, but Rhys or Tamlin. It's my way or no way, right? And Cassian was like, you know what? Let me just adapt. Why not? What is the worst that can happen? And she loved that because, finally someone is listening to the woman.
You would think like that the consent king that we called Rhys, the king of choice, would be willing to at least consider Nessa's input on what she was comfortable with, what she wasn't comfortable with. For me, it's very much so like a sexual relationship. You have to know what the other person's hard limits are, because at that point, if you're forcing them to do something that they're really not comfortable doing, it's not going to end well for anybody. So I don't know why. Just kind of ask questions. I don't understand what this.
Because I'm pretty sure Sarah J. Maas just forgot everything that she wrote on the other books, and she's like, nope, I don't know these people. Let's just bring some new personalities here because we need to make them look bad so Cassian and Nesta can look good. I'm pretty sure that's what she thought because I don't understand what is happening.
She got a ghostwriter and somebody else wrote it.
I thought I was gonna say something about that, but I was like, no, shut up. Sajay Mas, if you still want to come to the podcast, please come. We will not give you shit, I promise.
Defend your actions. Defend them.
I'm like, we will not give you shit, and then Reshea is like, defend your actions.
We were not on the same page. In a nice way. Listen, if she comes here, I'll just be like, oh my god, hello. You're here. I love you.
Like, oh my god, I'm sweating.
You're amazing. Can I kiss you? No, it's fine. I don't want to kiss you. Can I be you? Will you adopt me?
Let's talk about Emery and Wyn. Or Wayne. Or Wyn. Whatever you say her name.
Gwen?
Wyn? It's weird.
Gwyneth.
Gwyneth. Oh, Gwyneth Paltrow. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Gwen. Do you recall ever getting like a feeling about Gwen or no?
What That's feeling fine. Are you talking about?
I don't know. I kind of got a feeling sometimes that maybe she was not trustworthy.
Oh. Did she give you
vibes? She's giving you Morgan vibes?
Is she
What'd you say,
Ianthe
Catherine?
Vibes?
No, she was giving me Morgan vibes.
Yeah.
So like not like totally bad, but more like under duress bad. Like somebody, you know, had something on her and they were like making her give information or something. I don't know.
And the whole time she was giving me boring as fuck vibes.
I don't know. I didn't feel bored by her. I felt like I was a bit annoyed that she was just like throwing herself at Azriel when Azriel was clearly not interested.
When did that happen?
What?
Did you not read like any of the bonus chapters?
I did.
Necklace.
The one where he gives her the necklace and she's like,
no,
she wasn't throwing herself at him at all.
Maybe I'm projecting.
I'm like, what is she talking about? Look, maybe someone will never do it, it's her because she has so much trauma because of what happened to her.
But like,
she would never do that.
But then like Azriel was throwing himself at her, and I wanted her to be like, "Fuck off, Azriel," and she didn't. I think that's what it was.
But why would she? First of all, why would she do that? Because he saved her one.
Because it was secondhand gift. Yeah. It was a secondhand gift. This woman should have more self-respect. She should have been like,
"Oh, that."
I'm just saying.
She doesn't. He gives her the gift, and it was solstice, so it makes sense that he gave her a gift. Reshea, we need to talk about this.
Can we just cut all this out?
This is so good. Okay. So yes, Emery and Gwyneth. What? Oh my god, how is it so difficult for me to say? It's okay. So let's talk about these women in this way. Emery, I love her. She is giving warrior vibes. She's giving, my husband and I will go out hunting, and I will love it. I love that because we don't see that much on books, and then you see that with Feyre, and then she gets rich and she doesn't want to do that anymore. And I get it. I wouldn't do it either, but I want someone like Emery in my life, you know? I mean, it's true. It's true.
It's exactly what I would do, but I don't want to read books about women that do that.
Exactly. You get it. Okay, have you guys read any of the theories about Gwyneth?
Yes.
What about you, Catherine?
Ooh, are we going to blow your mind here, Catherine?
Bring it on.
Go ahead, Reshea.
On Catherine's face. There's a theory that Gwyneth is Tamlin's daughter.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's the reaction I live for in all parts of my life. Oh my god. I'm not lying.
How? How is it possible?
baby.
So she mentions that she was conceived on Calanmai.
That would make sense.
By a rando.
Oh, okay.
By a rando. By somebody her mom didn't even know.
Yep.
So her mom was a single mother.
Yeah,
raising
why did you
kids all on
think?
our own, working
Oh
3
my God.
jobs as a waitress.
But why
Sorry.
did you think townlit of all people? It could be, Oh,
I don't know. I
okay.
didn't come up with the theory.
Actually, when I read it, it was very detailed and it explained everything really good. I will say go and check on it
Sure, I
whenever
will.
you had a chance, whenever I have a chance, Catherine, because you will love it. And then there's another one that says that her and
Yeah,
Asriel are mated.
I read that one.
I will love that. See Asriel with. Are you an Asriel Elaine type of girly, or are you a Lucian Elaine type of girly?
No idea. I mean, I think we don't know. I really do
You
not
don't care?
That is one thing. But second thing, I think we do not know enough about Elaine. So, I really don't give a fuck.
So you don't. Welcome to Come With Us, the podcast where we don't give a fuck about Elaine regularly. This
It's a thing.
on a regular basis.
I would care more if she ends up with Asriel, because
I
Asriel
see.
is someone I care about, not Elaine.
Do you have a preference on who Asriel ends up with? Because right now there's a big debate about whether he should be with Elaine or he should be with Gwen.
Have you guys read Crescent City?
I have. Have you?
I haven't finished it. No.
Can you say this without spoilers?
Okay. Well, okay. So there are theories. No, never mind. Just never mind.
Mm-hmm. Is it theories about who Asriel
no,
is?
It's more about who he might end up with.
Oh.
Okay, but tell me just, is it Gwyneth?
No.
Fuck no, I don't care then.
You only want Asriel to be with Gwen? I will say, I think that it would be adorable if their story was that he saved her when all that shit was going down and then they fell in love. But I really also want Gwen to be able to spread her wings.
I mean, do you really need to have
figure some shit out with some other people first?
You know what? I would love that, but that's not gonna happen because in books, when someone has trauma, they don't become Nesta. They never become Nesta. You know?
I think that's why I like Nesta. It just justifies my behavior when I had trauma.
Yes, babes. We see you. We've been there. But yes, we love these ladies. Emery has a very, very hard life, and her wings are like fucked up and everything. If you want to know more about her, go to the previous episode because we talked about her.
She's great.
And then Gwyneth, she's just cute. She is a cutesy little pie. I think that's the only way that I can describe her in a way that we all can relate and like understand her. But that's it. Honestly, we get to know her story. What happened?
She's a redhead. Tell me one redhead in fantasy novels that isn't important. Exactly.
Makes sense.
Yeah. We love redheads. So, yes. So, Gwyneth had a very harsh life too. Basically, Asriel saved her. She was being abused and all that. It's a whole thing. Go read the book if you want to know more. We love these two women. We cannot wait to read more about them. Next point. Nesta puts a sign-up paper for the priestesses in the library. Nesta was like, I think these women could benefit from being strong in her mind and in their bodies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I love that. Because Feyre never thought about it. She wants people to paint and whatever.
I want to paint. And I want people to just get covered in paint together.
I don't know when this podcast became a we don't like Feyre type of podcast, but it is. It's happening, and I'm not backing up. I love it.
You know, if somebody were to ask me like separately, do you like Feyre? I'd be like, yeah, she's a badass. I liked her more as a human. Almost. Anyways, so okay,
all the magic made her stupid.
Yeah, right. All the fucking made her stupid, dude. Like,
could be.
I'll bet you she has traumatic brain injury. The mountains shook when he came. You're telling me she didn't sustain some sort of like football injury?
Concussion.
Just repeatedly concussed, like that movie with Will Smith. She's gonna have like the brain of an 80-year-old. I'm just saying. Anyways.
But to that point of Nesta putting the sign-up paper for the priestesses, do you see the differences between Nesta being, I want these people to fend for themselves. Like, I want them to feel like they have power. They're powerful. And then you see Feyre, that I'm not ditching on her on this. She has her own ways. For her, is painting great. That's therapeutic for her. Heck yes, baby. But Nessa is like, I understand that these women with trauma will be better off if they know how to defend themselves. They will be more encouraged to go out in the world because if something happened, they will know how to actually defend themselves.
I mean, in this case, Nesta is more therapizing than Rhys ever was when he gave the priestesses, the safe haven and everything.
Yeah. And she's sneaky about it too, because there's that scene where she's like practicing in the library and Clotho is like, Cassian, can you come take care of her because she's scaring the other women? And then he like walks in and he's like, you're dropping your elbow. Right. You're dropping your elbow. And he's like fixing it for her. And she's like, I knew I was dropping my elbow. I just wanted them to see you training me a little bit. And he was like, oh, you naughty girl. And she was like, I do what I can. And then 3 women showed up at the next training. Isn't that great?
I know, it's amazing. It's amazing. Okay. And I will forever think about this because this is a great example of don't give up. You see her stubbornness because she put that paper there and think a month passed and nobody signed up. And
keep reaching out your hand, right?
Yeah. And she was like, okay, let's just, and she never took the paper down. Never. It was beautiful. It was amazing. I love Nesta. I don't understand.
I mean, they have a right to. We have a right to disagree with them. This is what we were talking about. Elaine tells Nesta she doesn't need to be so miserable. Like, girl, what? You refused to eat, sleep, talk, anything for months, and no one forced you to do shit. Like, what?
No, but we need to make a point of this because she didn't do any of this because she was Faye. She did this because of mortal men that didn't give a shit about her. Fucking Grayson. At least Nesta had an excuse. Her dad died. Not die. Someone killed him in her eyes, like in front of her. And she killed someone. It was a whole thing. And you were doing all of that for a man. For reals. Be for reals.
For a human man.
Be for reals.
Elaine is probably too smart.
I do love this. I do love this approach. What I don't love is Elaine just being like, you could just deal with it though.
As if you did.
Because if Elaine is smart, she understands that Nesta is probably not as sly as she is, if that's what Elaine is. So wouldn't sly Elaine understand, I don't know, because she really did go through those moments, those months where she wasn't eating, sleeping, drinking, participating in life. She was wasting away. I don't think that was a calculated move. I think she really was traumatized, which is fair. You're allowed to be traumatized. You can't tell somebody else who is traumatized and did not receive the same support that you did. She was traumatized and was allowed to rest. Nesta was traumatized and they were like, you have to help us win this war because you aren't acting like weak little Elaine over here. So you're going to help us. So Nesta never even had a moment to fucking process, right? She was just put straight to work. And every turn of the page, whenever she was difficult, they were like, don't be such a bitch, Nesta. And then Nesta is sitting there not even having a chance. She's trying to protect her sister and then her sister gets fucking stolen and she blames herself because she was doing the scrying and she wasn't supposed to interact with the cauldron. So she's got all this other guilt on her. She feels like everything is her fault. She feels immense guilt about how she treated Feyre because she was a child and she didn't know a better way other than if I don't do it, someone's going to have to. Maybe dad will just let me die. We'll see what happens. So then she goes through all of this, becomes Faye, helps them with the fucking cauldron and all this shit. And then Elaine's finally like, I think I'm good now. I'm going to go kill the King of Hybern. And she stabs him in the throat. And then she's like, Nesta, why are you in such a bad mood? I don't understand.
Take Reshea, borrow this. You deserve it. You deserve it.
I'm just mad.
I understand that maybe Elaine is smart in that way, but Nesta doesn't have the EQ to be, or the sociopathic, that's not the word, the sociopath brain to be like Elaine.
Yeah. I feel like maybe that part where she was like, just get over it already, was her sociopath mask just dropping for a second.
That, when we were living in that small hut and everything in book 1, do you ever think that maybe Elaine just stuck to Nesta because, she just knew that this is how I can be safe, this is how I don't have to do stuff because that she knows that Nesta is
she manipulated
protective and she took advantage of that. I mean, there is a line in book 1 where Feyre is like, it's not like Elaine is evil, it's just that it never occurred to her that she could do something, maybe that was all manipulation too.
Oh, it occurred to her.
Of course it did.
Of course it did.
Possible. I mean, she is, technically elder, and now that she is with the Night Court and everything, and she has already dealt with her trauma, which I believe that like you said, it is true. It's none of that was fake. But once she got over it, and she's back to being kind of normal, and now she's just blending with the IC, and then all of a sudden Nesta is not doing the same, and she's like, just get over it. And it feels like she never really cared. She only stuck to her because, she saw her as a means to an end. Exactly.
Convenience.
I love that you said it feels like she never really cared. Maybe that's it. Maybe she never did. Maybe she never will.
Nesta is the what's the word? Antagonist that we have been wanting since Amarantha died too early.
Yes.
It would be so great because Amarantha had potential. Ianthe had potential. King of Hybern had potential and was never even really utilized. He didn't even really show up. Like, there were so many bad guy potentials that never really, they all fizzled out too easy.
Yep.
I'm just saying, like, it could be so good. It could be so good if Elaine was like dark side.
I'm manifesting that Sarah J. Maas is gonna have something in her brain. It's gonna be like, Elaine's gonna be bad. I just want it that way.
Yep.
We're gonna fucking win. We're gonna win.
What direction? Where does Sarah J. Maas live? California?
She lives in New York right now. No, she's moved to New York. Yeah.
East.
Okay.
I'm like, never eat soggy waffles.
All of this is happening, and in this book specifically, we see a lot of only Nesta and Cassian. Honestly, like, we see Feyre and Rhys and other people's things happening in their life, but it's just through them. And only basically Nesta never gets out of the house unless she has to, or they allow her to do something. So all of this is happening, and the sexual tension, it's off the charts. It's insane. Okay. Like, they train, and you just know that Cassian is, and Nesta is like a river. You know it. Sidra River. You just know it. So they kissed. That happens.
They kissed
out of spite.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, come on. We love angsty kisses and angsty tension.
I guess. Chapter 19 happens. This is the beginning of everything. Chapter 19, it's, I will say, when you're in high school and you're just always horny, and you come so fast if you're a man, of course, because for women, that doesn't happen that way ever. And even if you're in high school, that doesn't happen for us. So for men, when they're in high school, because the stamina is not built up and they don't know how to, do the thing. And Nesta, it's basically giving him a handy through his pants. It's just rubbing that thing really hard. And he comes really fast. But honestly, he's so hot. I don't know how Sarah J. Maas did it, but he's so hot.
Cassian's panting caressed her skin as he nipped at her bottom lip, her ear, her jaw. Her own staccato breathing echoed it, fire roaring in her blood, and he captured her mouth again, moaning into her as she gave up on the laces and buttons and laid her hand flat against him. He bucked as she rubbed the heel of her palm down his length, marveling at each inch. He tore his mouth from hers. If you keep doing that, I'll... Nesta did it again, dragging the heel of her palm upward toward the tip she knew pressed against his lower abdomen. God, that's high. She learned the shape of him through his pants and pressed her hand harder, working him. He gritted his teeth, chest heaving like a bellows. All right. And the sight of him the sight of him coming undone had her leaning forward, had her clamping her teeth onto his neck. Just as she rubbed him again, harder and rougher, he hissed, with her name on his lips, his hips thrust into her hand with a strength that made her core throb to the point of pain, imagining that force, that size and heat buried deep in her. Another punishing rub of her palm, a scrape of teeth at his neck, and Cassian erupted. And he jizzed in his pants. That's a real song.
She gives her a handy
a rubby
through his pants. A rubby. A rubby. I love that you every time you say rubby, you do this. It's so cute. She was like
I'm going to hell. All right.
We all are.
Babes, we all are. Don't worry about it. From the books that we read and the thoughts that we think, we're going.
The things we think and the fucks we fuck. The trove. We learn about the trove, the 3 magical items that were cauldron born: the mask, the harp, and the crown. And they decide that the only person who could really find where these things are a person, a fae, that is also cauldron made, which means it's who? It's not just
Elaine?
Nesta as an option. We've also got Elaine and Feyre and Amren.
Feyre and Amren,
Correct?
because they weren't exactly made from the cauldron, but I would say Elaine and Nesta. I mean, they had a choice, but of course they would pick Nesta.
And then,
because why not?
well, no, because remember, they wanted Elaine, or Elaine offered to do it, and Nesta was like, no, fuck off.
Oh,
she was still protecting,
exactly.
I'm sorry, she was still protecting Elaine. But then also consider this. Rhys died and was resurrected through the cauldron, or was resurrected afterwards as well, right? So we know that like being gifted the kernel of life from the other High Lords is also being shown as being made, because they were talking about like, why can't Feyre do it? And that's when we find out that Feyre's preggers, right? Why couldn't Rhys do it?
She's pregnant and she's been with this man for 8 months or less. I would always say this. I don't care. Why, Feyre? Why? We have so much expectations for this woman. I don't want to say it, but I might put Feyre in the burn book. Yeah.
Hot take.
Yeah. I don't know her. Maybe we'll see. Elaine, Nesta, Feyre, Rhys, and Amren. 5 people. They could all do this thing. And the only one was Nesta. And then they're complaining about I love how we're gonna have
God, you were hilarious.
I had makeup on my hand.
Oh yeah, I noticed, and I was see Sylvia.
Here's a behind the scenes moment for everyone. We're real people. I don't spend money on Kleenex. Why would you?
Yeah, so many people that could have done this, and she got the 3 objects, all of them. And
not yet, though. That's later.
And even though she did all of that, they're still complaining.
In chapter 20, they're like, we have these 3 troves. There's a rumor of a mythical 4th trove that nobody knows what it is. That's going to come and play later in the second half of the book when she goes to get the harp. Okay, but the 3 that we have are the mask, which can raise the dead and control them, the harp, which can open any door, physical or not, and the crown, which can influence any person, like basically turn them into your puppet and make them do your bidding.
So, Catherine, if you could choose
crown, obviously,
which one would you choose?
That's fair.
What about you, Reshea?
Harp. What about you, Susie?
I would definitely do the crown to convince the person that gave it to me to give me the harp.
Brilliant.
But what if they don't have the harp?
They will find it because I just said that I need it, and they're influenced by me.
But I mean, that's what the queen was trying to do.
This is my book. There's gonna happen what I want.
I'm so sorry. That was my bad.
Next point, and this is very important, and we just touched base on this, but Feyre is prego. What? in Echo Fast, we know that she wanted to get pregnant. She got a vision of a baby. You didn't have to get pregnant, lady. Not right now. What are your thoughts on Feyre getting pregnant, Catherine?
You know, even though she's got, you know, a maid that she's going to spend her rest of the eternity with, I mean, you have millennia ahead of you, thousands of years, and you would choose now, especially when you haven't discovered a thing about being a fae. I mean, does that make sense? Nope, not to me.
Feyre getting pregnant was something that it shouldn't have happened, in my opinion. But again, I will go to this point forever, and I will die with this point. Sarah J. Maas wanted to bring Feyre down because she wanted to give light to Nesta. And honestly, while I'm saying this, I'm thinking, what is she going to do to Nesta to bring her down so Elaine can be up?
That's a good question.
I don't like
it. Is it that she already gave up her powers to save Feyre? Because listen, I don't want to admit it. I want Nesta to get 3 books because the OCD in me really needs there to be 3, 3, and 3. Yeah. But I'm also gonna still read it if Nesta only gets 1 book. And it seems like it's set up for that. Nesta gave her power away.
Chapter 20. What happens in chapter 22, Reshea?
Cassian eats out for lunch.
Cassian goes down on Nesta.
At least that's a delicious dinner.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert.
He takes his time. We love that.
Oh my god. I just need to pull out my highlighters because I'm seeing more.
Yes. If you don't know, all of these tabs and our books, they're all highlighted because we need to highlight smut. Ooh. Like, you know, when you read something philosophical or whatever, and you're like, oh, yeah, this is... We'll do that with smut.
Yeah.
Listen.
We're proud of it.
Listen. Remember when we were talking episodes and episodes ago about how Rhys had this opportunity to be the BDSM daddy dom that we wanted in the inn, and then it ended up being pretty vanilla?
Yeah.
Cassian is giving the man who says all the right dirty talk, the whole, and it's
yeah, totally.
My brain short-circuited. Catherine.
Something else that happens on chapter 22 is we know that Feyre she's pregnant. We actually confirmed that on this chapter. And they explain why, because we didn't say it before. The why of why we don't love Rhys on this book is that he was treating Feyre like a dad with a teenage daughter that he doesn't want to get pregnant. He doesn't want her to get pregnant, basically. Yeah. So he had a bubble, so they couldn't smell the baby, her, or anything. Nobody could get in the house. If it basically was something like, if you want to see Feyre, you have to make an appointment 20 years from now because it's not possible. Basically, it was like that.
Absolutely insane.
I know. So now we know in this chapter, it's revealed that he was doing all of that because Feyre is pregnant. Is justifying his actions? Heck fucking no.
Did Feyre not straight up bounce from the spring court because she was being held prisoner and wasn't allowed to like fucking leave? So you're telling me that if Tamlin had just put his little pet Feyre in one of those balls you put a hamster in so that she could roll around outside, she would have been fine? Because that's essentially what Rhys did. She's in a little protective bubble, like Jake Gyllenhaal in The Bubble Boy. She can't even hug people. She like goes to give him a hug and there's like weird force field. Like what? Sorry.
I'm telling you, he became not a daddy. Like, he was a zaddy and because he's 500 years, so he's a zaddy. He was a zaddy and a daddy, and he became a father. Like, no, we don't allow. And then we realized that they're gonna have a boy. Am I excited about that? Heck fucking no. We wanted a fucking woman. Have a girl. Have another Nesta. Have another Feyre. No, a boy.
No.
Honestly,
why are you doing this to me? You're doing this to me directly.
As I feel about Elaine, I just don't care anymore.
You've got a baby. Cool story, bro. Like, it's like the coworker that's always showing you pictures of their kids. and you're like,
beautiful baby, but
I don't care. Ooh, I do love the pictures of kids when they're like super ugly though.
I'm telling you, if we were in a book, we will be the villains, and I love it. I love it. There's something here that I didn't realize before, and Asriel asked Cassian if he wanted kids, and he said, "Of course, I want children." And it's interesting to see that he had a shitty fucking life, and he still want to bring children to this world.
Cassian is one of those guys who his trauma has softened him.
Yeah.
And made him more empathetic.
Yeah, definitely.
Not hardened him and turned him into some asshole. Like Feyre. Or
Totally.
Nesta.
And we have to add to that the fact that Rhys's mom had a lot to do with it, because he saw that there was another type of life that he could have. And not only the Illyrian type of life, because that's a freaking bad type of life. Like, oh my God, no. Nobody wants that. Yeah. So yes, they realize that Feyre is preggo, and they're all like, oh my God, I'm going to be an uncle. Hey, fucking yes. We don't care, but they're very happy. So yeah.
Good God.
Nesta was reading when he went down on her. She was, yeah.
Nesta's reading, you know, some real smart.
Smart. It's smart with smart.
She's philosophical. It's probably like an autobiography or something. And Cassian comes in, right? And he starts like teasing her, and they're making out, right? And he's like grabbing her boobie and everything, and she's like, stop it. And he's like, he goes, I owe you a debt, because she got him off. And he's like, he racked his brain afterwards. He felt so terrible, because he was like, damn it, I didn't make Nesta come, which the energy we all strive to have in a boyfriend. This was
literally
right?
the best.
If you aren't coming into a relationship,
for me in Silver Flames,
right?
Like, we need a man like that.
Yes. Yeah. Listen, I love somebody who understands that, like, sometimes it's all about one person and not the other person. I love that. And I also love that he was just mad that she didn't get taken care of first.
Absolutely.
Love it. Love that for her. Love that for her. So he says, I owe you a debt. And he just straight up like, well, so first, before he said, I owe you a debt, he like pulls her to the end of the bed and like lifts her nightgown up, and he's just like primed, ready to go, right? And she's like, oh my God, stop it. And don't stop it. Stop it. And like her pussy's just in his face. And she's like, what are you doing?
Oh, and that was the first time. That was the first time that he saw her with her hair down.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And he was like, oh, you look so beautiful with your hair down. And she's like, thank you. And I think after that, she wore
now let me read you out.
More.
He waited for her to signal that she understood what he intended, what she dreamed of. We love consent. What she dreamed of for so long in the darkest hours of the night. In a choked whisper, she said, yes. Cassian gave her a feral, purely... I do my best.
I love it.
Cassian gave her a feral, purely male smile. And then his hands tightened on her bare thighs, spreading them wider. His head lowered, and all she could see was his dark hair, gilded by the lamps, and his exquisite wings rising above them both. He didn't waste time with gentle touches and tastes.
Oof. Now that we're talking about this, I don't know you guys, but every time I see Cassian, we understand that he's the biggest of the bad boys. He's like a huge man, right?
He's like Jason Momoa.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. Every time I imagine him down on Nesta on this scene, I feel like she's like, you know, her legs are like that. And
parted.
He parted, yeah. And he looks like a fucking beast between her legs. I love
and just
that
the wings, and just the wings like... Also, do you remember that Catherine, I don't know if you've seen it, there's a comedian Sussy sent the message, or Tierney did. It's a comedian talking about telling men not to look up at us and make eye contact when they're going down.
I haven't seen it.
They get like the vein right here and they're like, look like a fucking demon.
Oh my god.
Okay, but we need to. Okay, no, I sent that video and I stand by that. But
like Cassian would never look. Cassian would never make eye contact.
Honestly, that eye contact, depending on the man, it could be
Depending
hot
on the man.
AF.
I agree.
Guess they can't have that weird vein and like a little sheen of sweat. It can't be that. They need to look relaxed. If they look.
Oh my. Oh.
I'm so sorry.
Oh my god! No, I love it. I love it. I love it.
I'm so out of my Adderall.
They're doing that, but they agreed that it's only just sex. Go
and
ahead,
then
baby.
Cassian lunged for her, a beast freed of its cage, and she barely had time to twist towards the edge of the bed before his lips were on hers, devouring and claiming. Deep purring sounds.
You're making me blush so much.
But yeah, like to get back to the things, the dirty talk that Cassian does. Ready? So he's going to town, right? He's a lick-a-lot-of-puss. And he says, "You taste even more delicious than I dreamed."
And then
he says,
go ahead.
Ooh, you want to say it?
Are you always this wet for me, Nesta?
And then more. She wanted more. She undulated. She got to stop using that word, Sarah.
Yeah.
She undulated her hips against him hard enough to drive his finger deeper. Greedy, he murmured onto her, and withdrew his finger nearly to its tip. So she's like, "Oh, no, put it back." And then he added a second finger and plunged back in. And that is how we know that Cassian is amazing, because then he also follows up with "Holy gods, Nesta." Like, listen, the best thing a man can say during sex is that moment of like, "Holy shit," like that. Or like the way that The Witcher says "fuck."
Oh my god.
See, even my Latina side came out. I didn't know how to be. I was like, see.
Oh my god. Yes.
Yes. So he went down, and we're so happy because the dirty talk was dirty talking, baby. It was amazing. Gwyneth signs up for the training with Nesta because Nesta is winning in life, and she doesn't give up.
So, like, Cassian was dealing with Eris. Eris starts calling him, like, basically telling him he's stupid and he's lowborn and and he's a piece of shit, and like basically hitting all of Cassian's biggest insecurities. Yeah, and so he's in a bad mood. And Nesta does what any good girlfriend would do, which is like, "Are you so sad? I'm so sad that you're sad. Want me to cheer you up with a blowjob?"
Oh.
Okay. First of all, we need to talk about the Aries part. If you know me, you know that I love that man so much. He's giving.
Yeah.
I know you told me he is giving Irish, and to me, that's always a yes. Always and forever a yes. But we know that Aries is like the heir to to be the High Lord of the Autumn Court. I don't think anyone has the right to treat Cassian that way, and like nobody. Mm-hmm. And
not
for
my baby.
him to do that to him, I know that he has to have this mask. Probably we don't know because we don't know Aries at all yet. He has to have this mask that he's like a bad person. But this moment I was like, you fucking are a bad person, because why are you fucking up with my man?
He's just an asshole. Here's the thing is like, Rhys had this air to him where like he only did bad things to put on a bad persona in front of certain people. Aris just genuinely is a dick.
People off.
He's just not as much. He's like he reminds me of like in 80s movies, those like rich guys like, "Do you know who my father is?" You know, like with the polo shirts and
totally get your vibe.
Totally. No.
He's just like privileged and just like
spoiled,
kind of a dick.
Draco Malfoy.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, I'll tell my father about this. My father will hear this.
And he's giving Cardan, you know, totally. Vibes from the Cruel Prince. Total Cardan vibes. But this happens, and I'm actually happy that this happens because of this, I read the most perfect blowjob scene ever. Yes, Sarah J. Maas wrote it. And it's Nesta under a table giving Cassian a blowjob. Not only a blowjob, the best blowjob I've ever read. I don't know if it is because I was very hormonal at the moment or what, but oh my God.
Number one, the first thing she does is ask him how he likes it, which is amazing because communication is key always. You're never like anybody you're with, it's not going to be the same as the next person you're with, right? And just assuming that because one person thinks you're really good means that everybody's going to think you're good, not true. So she, first of all, she sees his dick like without the pants for the first time, and she's like, huh, and her mouth goes dry. The fear. She says his cock was enormous, beautiful and hard, and absolutely enormous. Her mouth dried out, every plan she had requiring sudden reassessment. So she says that there's no way he'd fit entirely into her mouth, perhaps no way he'd even fit in her body, but she sure as hell wanted to try. Which we love her. She does not back down from a challenge. But then she says, "How do you like it?" she asked, her voice breathy as hot need washed through her. She wrapped her hand around his cock, her fingers barely able to reach around him completely. Sorry. Barely. So just like barely it's doable. Gentle. She made a feather-soft pass over him, squeezing lightly. Cassian shook his head as if beyond words. She stroked him again, slightly harder. Like this? His chest heaved, his teeth shining as he gritted them, but he shook his head. Nesta smiled, and when she pumped him a third time, she squeezed hard, letting her nails graze the sensitive underside of his shaft. His hips arched off the chair, and she pinned a hand to them. "I see," she murmured, and did it again, harder still, twisting her fist as she reached the round head. He tried to arch into her hand, but she pinned him again with that other hand. "And this?" she purred, head lowering. "Do you like this?" Nesta licked across his broad head, tongue sliding into the small slit across its tip. She licked up the small bead of moisture already gathered there. Shall I keep going, or do we just need to stop? Because...
No, I think we definitely need to stop because but listen. We know a few things from this. Cassian likes it rough, and that to me is a yes, Lord. We love it.
And he doesn't just want to give. He doesn't just want to like be rough with women. He likes it. He likes getting it rough too. She used her nails. What?
I'm pretty sure she was like squeezing him. Yes, baby. Give it to me. Yes.
The concentration necessary. She had to start training as an Illyrian warrior just to be able to have the strength to give that hand job.
And that's so
Cassian had ulterior motives. He's like, I don't give a fuck if she can fight in a war. I need her to be able to take this dick. Is what it is.
Oh my God. Yes. We're gonna keep talking about this blowy on the next episode. But sinners, that's it for today. I'm so happy that we got to discuss all of this with you, Catherine. And we just want to say that we thank you so much for coming to this episode. If you have any last words that you want to say to your community, please let us know where people can follow you. Where are you? And what do you do on your Instagram with books? Because you have a bookish Instagram, so we want to know everything.
Read as much as you guys do. But I do have a love for reading, and I'm more into fantasy than I'm into smut these days. But I guess I would say that reading is everything to me. And you can find me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'm literally everywhere, although I'm only active on Instagram. So
thank you, Catherine. We cannot wait to have you back, and we have so much fun. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Changed my mind about Elaine. I love it.
because you can get enough of us. You can follow us on all social medias as Come With Us Pod. That's going to be TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Come With Us Pod. You can follow me on Instagram as at I'm Sussy Nunez and Reshea as at Reshea_Reads. And on TikTok, I am as at I'm Sussy Nunez 1111 and Reshea is at Charlotte Rivers number 4 at the end. You know you want to. See you there.
Sinners, you've been good little angels. Thank you for listening, and remember to stay wicked, stay wild, and keep reading. Bye.
Bye-bye. Love you.